Hey guys, Artosis here with the Race Survival Series. This is week number 4, and we are right now in game number 5. MisO starting a bit of a win streak here. Definitely performing quite well in the Race Survival Series. Bringing the Zerg maybe a little bit ahead of the other two races after this match. It is MisO in the top right, and in the top left, none other than Movie, returning from last week after kind of a disappointing PVZ. We're going to see if he can do maybe a little bit better here against MisO. I do think MisO is probably just slightly favored against Movie. Movie not really super known for his Protoss versus Zerg. Much more of a Protoss versus Terran and Protoss versus Protoss player. But we'll see what he can pull off. Now the map is Allegro. Allegro is actually just kind of an alternate version of Largo. In fact, as you look at it, you might mistake it for Largo, but there are some differences. The high ground area does not go through the entire middle of the map. It's in, you can kind of see it start here, so there's a bunch of high ground in there, and you still have the high ground gas expansions, but there is low ground in between. So you can definitely have some very quick pushes from natural to natural in these spawns. We'll see if that actually plays into this at all. But MisO goes for pool first. Looks like it's actually an overpool here. So, you know, kind of a middle of the road pool. And for Movie, I think he's just going forge expansion. Yeah, so he's setting this down right now. Going to go ahead, throw down his forge, and time out that cannon just right so he does not end up dying to any Zerglings. So there's the forge there. In the meantime, the probe just harassing the drone a bit, getting some nice moving shots off. Drone will end up getting away. Spawning pool will be finishing here pretty shortly as the Overlord comes over and finds what is up in Movie's base. Continually making probes here. It'll be interesting to see if, I think he has to go cannon first, doesn't he? I guess maybe I'm wrong. It looks like he was getting ready to make the Nexus, or maybe he was baiting extra Zerglings being made by pretending he was going to make that Nexus first. And there are 6 lings being made. I don't know if the 6 lings are going to be able to really do anything. This cannon will be up in time. We also have MisO taking his third base location, just south of his natural. And of course, that is his first base that he's taking since the probe was kind of blocking him at that other base. Now, the 6 lings are out. Does he try something like a run by? It's hard to imagine that actually working out. See, a gateway goes down. The probe going to help block? Yeah, I mean, if you run in perfectly, I think you still lose basically every Zergling here. Maybe 1 or 2 damaged Zerglings get through, and now as the probes come down, obviously nothing can get through. So, yeah, that's actually going to be that. the Zerglings not going to be able to get anything done. We do have that third hatchery going up at the natural here for MisO. And the probe just trying to remain annoying. Attacking the spawning pool a little bit. Trying to mine the minerals a little bit as well. And it seems like, I mean, with the probe out and doing all this scouting, it seems like there's not really any chance of anything happening early on, right? Movie is completely safe. And, yeah, I mean, especially if you're going to sit here with 3 probes. Honestly, I'm surprised that he still has 3 here. It feels to me like you don't need 3. 2 should be more than enough in this situation. Either way, playing it very, very safe here against MisO, who is getting his lair at that third base location. So that's the hardest one to scout. And Movie has to be wondering about that, because this is one of the main things you watch against Zerg when you're in their base, is when they get that gas. And, you know, when it's basically 20 seconds after you start mining the geyser, you get 100 gas. So then you're looking like, okay, are you getting lair? Or is it Zergling speed? Because that is something that you need to keep track of. Now, the Ling's coming back to help clear out this probe. We'll see if he's able to catch it quickly or not. Plenty of drones being made. Looks like a couple of Zealots have popped and are going to make their way across the map. 2 Zealots and a probe. Definitely enough to deal with these 6 Lings. And the Citadel coming up, as well as Stargate. So kind of like a little bit of a slow early game here. As, you know, the scouts found each other quickly, and none of their builds really lined up to be able to get any real pressure or damage off. It's kind of interesting, by the way, to see some of these forge expands grow in popularity once again. It's something that I've noticed slightly, and I'm not entirely sure why. It might be because there's been more aggression to deal with those mini-esque gateway expands where you get late cannons. That could be what is kind of making Protosses rethink and rejigger their build orders to be able to get out those photon cannon expansions a little bit more often. Just kind of the shifting of the meta, I suppose. Now, speed is done. 8-lings coming across the map. They're not going to find any damage or anything like that. This is completely impenetrable against such a small number. The Spire is coming up. I mean, it's going to be done pretty quickly. And MisO, once again, we're going to see a lot of MisO PVZs in the Survivor series. And you can see he really does like to play like this, where it's like Spire into the 5-hatch. We'll see if he goes Carapace quickly. Definitely something that we've seen from him in the past. Corsairs being created. Templar Archives actually finishes up very, very quickly. Second gateway is coming up as well. One thing to mention, when you see 2 gateways at the natural, sometimes this is like this. So just in case, you can pop out 2 High Templars near each other and they can become an Archon very quickly. Whereas if you have a gate in the main and a gate at the natural, to get those 2 High Templars together, they're much more likely to be sniped by Mutalisks. So just kind of like a little bit of a safety precaution. Pretty trendy to make 2 gates at the natural. Your first 2, in fact. Especially if you're getting that quick Templar Archives. Now, a couple Overlords already dying here. That has to be a bit frustrating. 4 Scourge going across the map here for MisO. He's not going to be able to catch the Corsairs, unfortunately for him. Movie going to sit them over this cannon, so giving them that added layer of protection. We haven't seen any real production yet. Oh my god! The DT going to slip into the main, but there are 2 Overlords up here, so it doesn't seem like this DT will actually end up getting anything really done. A good try there, though. Some nice micro. He does one-shot lings, so, I mean, if you're not getting the damage off on him, he will kill them if they come in one at a time. So down goes that Dark Templar. Again, I think it was like a worthwhile attempt, but not really finding any damage. Now, a bunch of Mutos are hatching. A ton of Scourge as well. Looks like about 10 Scourge just popped. So that's, yeah, that's something that we've definitely seen from MisO. Let's see if he can actually get damage. Archon on the way. Okay, well, you can kind of see that coming into play here. The Archon might be very, very important. I mean, this is enough to push the Corsairs back and get some damage as well, I think. Right? These Scourge are actually waiting. He wants the Corsairs to follow him. Let's see if we actually get this situation. Oh my god. The Scourge turn and go after the Corsairs. The Corsairs unable to loop around over the Archon. That's one of the main tactics that you use. Archons can one-shot Scourge. So if you fly the Corsairs over that Archon, those Scourge can be killed off very quickly, very efficiently. All right, more Corsairs still coming out. We're up to 6 right now. That +1 flyer carapace is on the way as well. You know, for MisO. +1 air attack's already done, though. So definitely we see that advantage from Movie as he moves across the map now. Well-placed couple Sunkens. Okay, well, he gets 2 Corsairs with all those Scourge, but that was like 10 to 12 Scourge. So I think he's still totally fine. These ones are not even, like, their shields are not even taken. So that's a bit rough. And look at that. Another Scourge flies over the Archon, and the air domination is seriously Movies right now. Zealots going across the map to join up with this Zealot Archon force. This Sim City, absolutely unbelievable. There's no way. There is no way that this can do anything there. Look at that. Single file you have to attack in. The larva even stopping this path? That's crazy awesome. I love this setup. That is one of the tightest, best Sim Cities I have ever seen. Look at that. Ridiculous. All right, now MisO coming around with more Scourge. Still looking to trade with these Corsairs a little bit. We have Storm going up for Movie right now. Adding plenty of gateways here as well. Getting that range upgrade for the Dragoons as well as +1 armor. There are Hydralisk upgrades coming in. Plenty of Hydras being made as well. But MisO not giving up the skies all that easily. I wonder if he's going to be able to actually make something happen with all this. Or, I mean, you're already kind of forcing Protoss to make lots of Corsairs, which, you know, obviously that's going to cut into high Templar counts, slow down Dragoons and Observers and things like that, but it costs a lot for the Zerg as well, especially if you're not really doing anything else. And if the Corsairs basically stick around and you're not trading with them at all, they're still super useful throughout the game. So yeah, I'm wondering if this is actually going to be a worthwhile endeavor here for MisO to continually make these Scourge and try to get damage. Or at least try to parry those Corsairs. Alright, tons of Hydras being made. Lots of Dragoons as well. We are up to 8 gates for Movie, as you can see. This range upgrade is coming right along. +1 Carapace almost done here to go with that +1 attack. Definitely going to be a very strong army. Now look at this, a full group of Mutas. So he's put even more money into this. The Scourge going to be the zoning tools. There's only a single cannon in the main base. Let's see what he can get done. Okay, goes after that Photon Cannon right away. Brings the Scourge over. Dragoons, of course, coming up to help. There is a Templar here with a Psy Storm, so you have to be very careful about that. Storm kills Scourge almost instantaneously. And MisO runs out. Okay, that was pretty decent, I think. That was not bad. He didn't really lose anything. Got a bit of damage, keeping Movie back as well. Looks like he wants to make that same type of move once again. Look at this. The Corsair. Oh, God. They were really spread there. And he loses 3 of them instantaneously. You know what? It's starting to work out a little bit for him. But this is a big army roaming through the center. Let's see what he's going to do against this engagement. Oh, that's a big storm. That's 11 Mutas all taking a bite there from that Psy Storm. But we do have a lot of supply for MisO as well. So these Hydras going to be a bit hard to deal with. More Sunkens on the way as well. The production is pretty awesome, but his Hydralisk force is split up. It seems like maybe 2/3 here and 1/3 here. Lots of Sunkens, though, to help out as well. All right, more Hydras popping out now. Some of them right on top of those Zealots. And here come the Psy Storms. Beautiful storm there on the clumped up Hydras. More Hydras coming down from the main. Another beautiful storm, shredding 3 of them. And it seems like Movie's attack is very strong indeed. Are the rest of the Hydras going to come down for the flank? I feel like he needs to do that yesterday. Why is he not sending those down? I just do not know. I mean, these Dragoons, there's so much damage happening in MisO's Natural. He's losing every single drone. I mean, this is brutal. Just now sending his Hydras up. It looks like a lot of them starting to get stuck in his own SimCity, but he loses the hatchery. He loses the evolution chamber. He loses the natural base, all the drones at it. And Movie takes a gigantic lead at this point. I think he's just going to win the game. A very slow response, or maybe that's not the right choice. It's not like he didn't know he was under attack, but a choice to not bring that flanking army to try to fight. Very brutal indeed. And now Movie, after killing off about half the army over here, will kill off the other half as it walks down. Look at this. We even have units in the main base. There's a High Templar just chilling on creep. And I think that's it, man. It looks like Movie has taken down MisO. MisO looked like he was actually putting out a pretty strong game. It's just this one kind of error, not bringing his entire army to bear when really Movie needed that damage. He needed to have a good engagement. And if he didn't, he was on 2 base against 3 for a very long time. So reinforcing. These Hydras trying to micro back, but the production is not there. GG! Movie puts a win on the board for Protoss.